Okay, so here is number 5. Number 5 says to put the conic in standard form. Identify the center, the vertices, foci, and then you need to graph it. Okay, so just first of all, looking at the equation, I know that I'm going to be graphing an ellipse. Now, the reason why I know it's an ellipse is because my x squared and my y squared, and notice I did put it in order with my x's together and my y's together. My x squared and my y squared have different coefficients of a 4 and 9, but they're both positive. So when both coefficients are positive but different numbers, that means it's an ellipse. So to put it in standard form, you have to complete the square. So I'm going to add the 104 to both sides, and I'm going to factor out the 4 and the 9 here. So I have 4 times x squared plus 2x plus 9 times y squared plus 4y, and that equals 104. All right, so now I'm going to complete the square for the x's here. So I have 4 times x squared plus 2x. So half of 2 is 1, squared is 1, so I put plus 1 here. And at the back, remember, since I have a GCF on the outside, I have to multiply that 1 by 4 so that this becomes a 4 back here, plus 4. So then this becomes 4 times x plus 1 squared. All right, so with the y's, I have 9 times y squared plus 4y. Half of 4 is 2. Squared is 4. Multiply that by 9. You get 36 back here. So this becomes 9 times y plus 2 squared. And when I add up the whole right side, 104, 4, and 36, I get 144. So I'm going to divide everything by 144. So that's equal to 1. So I get x plus 1 squared over 4 and 144, reduced to 36, 1 over 36. And y plus 2 squared, 9 and 144, reduced to 1 and 16, and that equals 1. Okay, so now I know this ellipse. I'm just going to move everything up. So this ellipse I know is going to be long up and down because my large number, remember, with an ellipse, your A is on your larger number, your larger denominator is your A. And since it's under X, it's going to be elongated like this. So that means my A is equal to 6 and my B is equal to 4. So my center is -1, -2. So we have here -1, -2. There's my center. Okay, and then I'm going to go left, right, 6. So when I go to the right 6, that's going to put me at 5. And to the left 6 is going to put me at -7. So let's write down those vertices there. So my vertices are 5, -2, -7, -2. And then I need to go up, down 4. So when I go up 4, that's going to put me at 2. And that's -1, 2. And I'm going to go down 4. It's going to put me at -6. So that's -1, -6. Okay, so draw your ellipse. Okay, so now I need my foci. So for the hyperbola, the ellipse, sorry, that's a, sorry, I have the wrong writing tool. So for the ellipse, I use a squared equals b squared plus c squared. So I have 36 equals 16. Plus c squared. So c squared is equal to 20. So c is equal to plus minus 20, square root of 20. So my foci, remember, are on my major axis, and my foci are over here someplace. From the center, I'm going to the left and to the right. So that means my x value is going to change from my center. So from my center, I'm changing my x. So it's negative 1 plus the square root of 20, comma, negative 2. And negative 1 minus the square root of 20, comma, negative 2. All right, so let's take a look at 5b. Okay, so I know graphing this, since I have an x squared and a y squared. Now, look at my x squared, the coefficients, the x squared and the y squared. I have a positive 9 here and a negative 16 here in front of my y squared. That's how you know it's a hyperbola, because your coefficients are opposite signs. Doesn't really matter what the numbers are. They could even be the same numbers, but if they're opposite signs, one's positive, one's negative, then it is a hyperbola. All right, so we're going to complete the square. So I'm going to factor out the 9 here, factor out the 16 here, and move the 151 over. So it's 9 times x squared minus 2x. Make sure you factor out the negative 16. Negative 16 times y squared plus 2y. And that equals 151. All right, so now I'm going to complete the square. So I have 9 times x squared minus 2x. Half of negative 2 is 1 squared. Negative 1 squared is positive 1. Multiply it by 9, so we get 9. So this is 9 times x minus 1 squared. All right, so I have negative 16 times y squared plus 2y. Half of 2 is 1, squared is 1. Multiply that by negative 16. And we get negative 16 at the end. So that's negative 16 times y plus 1 squared. And this comes out to be equal to, when I add up the right side, 144. Divide everything by 144. So 9 and 144 reduce to 1 and 16. So it's x minus 1 squared over 16 minus y plus 1 squared over 16 and 144 reduced to 9, and that equals 1. Okay, so now with the hyperbola, your a squared is underneath the positive binomial. So this, usually it's the first one that you write as positive. So this is my positive binomial. This would be my negative binomial, my minus binomial. So this one has to be my a squared. So then I know my a is equal to 4. And my b is equal to 3. Now remember, what b gives me is, it helps me draw my box. All right, so my center is 1, negative 1. All right, so let's start drawing a picture here. All right, so I have 1, negative 1. And that is the center. All right, so I need my vertices. So that's going to come from my A. Remember, with the hyperbola, there's only 2 vertices, not 4. This only helps me with my box. All right, so since this is underneath the x, we're going to go left, right. So I'm going to go to the right. 4 is going to put me at 5. So one of my vertices is 5, negative 1. And I'm going to go to the left. 4 is going to put me at negative 3. So that's negative 3, comma, negative 1. All right, so now I need the box. All right, so I'm going to go up 3. So up 3 puts me at 2. So remember, this only helps with the box. And down 3 puts me at negative 4. Okay, so draw your box. You could even draw this dotted, because it's you wouldn't see the box when you draw this. Draw in your diagonals. Okay, now you could draw the branches. The branches are going to go towards your asymptotes. So like this. Okay, so now I need my foci. So my foci are going to be over here someplace. So for the hyperbola, the foci, you use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that's 4 plus 9 equals c squared. Sorry, my bad, I did that wrong. That was actually 16. So I get c is equal to the square root of 25, which is positive minus 5. So we're going to the right. We're going to go to the right 5 and to the left 5. So from 1, since I'm going left and right, I'm going to change my 1. So 1, so it's going to be 1 plus 5 comma negative 1. So that's 6 comma negative 1. 1 minus 5 comma negative 1, which is negative 4 comma negative 1. Okay, so let's take a look at number 6. Okay, so for number 6, we have to come up with the equation for this guy here. So I know it says this is an ellipse, so I have to come up with the equation for the ellipse. All right, so I'm going to start drawing a picture. So I have vertices are 13, 8. And I have here negative 3, 8. Okay, so that means my center has to be right in the middle. So from negative 3 to 13, that's 16 units. Half of 16 would be 8 units. So from 13 down 8 units, so 13 minus 8 would be 5. Okay, so then this would be my center right here. So my center is going to be 5 comma 8. Okay, now this is also what I know. I know that my foci are 5 plus, so I'm going from x. I'm adding to my x. That means my foci have to be left and right of my vertices. Because notice that my y values are the same. So my foci are like in here someplace. All right, so that would mean that my A, and my A is from center to vertice, right? A is equal from center to vertice. So that's 8. All right, so then since I'm going left, right, I know my A is going to be underneath my X. So I can start actually writing this. This is going to be X minus 5 squared plus y minus 8 squared, and that's going to equal 1. And I know my A is going to be 8, so A squared is going to be 64. So now I need my B. In order to get my B, I'm going to have to use A squared equals B squared plus C squared. So A is 64 equals B squared plus C squared. Now C, remember, is from center to foci. So from center to foci, I'm going left, right, 2 radical 7. So this would be 2 radical 7 squared. So 64 equals B squared plus 2 radical 7 squared. So that's 4 times 7. And 4 times 7 is 28. So minus 28 from both sides, and I get 36. So that's my B squared. That's what I want. So my B squared goes underneath there. Now I can finish graphing this. So my B is actually equal to 6. So I'm going to go now up, down 6. So up 6 is going to put me at 14. And down 6 is going to put me at 2. So here are my other vertices. And now I can draw my ellipse. So this would be my ellipse here. Like this. Okay, so and here's the equation here. All right, so let's take a look at 6b. Okay, so 6 says to write the equation for the hyperbola. So they give us our vertices and our foci. So notice with the foci, it's my y value that's changing. So that's going up and down. All right, so let's start drawing a picture. All right, so my vertices are 6, 12. And let's see, and I have 6, negative 6. All right, so I need my center. So from 12 to negative 6, that's 18 units. So half of 18 is 9. So 12 down 9 units is going to put me at 3. Okay, so here would be my center. Actually, let me fix that so it looks a little bit better. So it would be here at 3. So this is my center. So my center is 6, 3. All right, so I have my vertices. Now look at my vertices, my foci, sorry. My foci, my y value is changing. That means my foci are up here someplace and down here because it's my y value that changed. So that means my A is going to go underneath my y, okay, because I'm going up and down. So remember, with a hyperbola, your A is underneath your positive one, okay? So that means my y is going to have to be first. So it's going to have to be y minus 3 squared plus x minus 6 squared is equal to 1. All right, and now I need my A. My A is here from 3 to 12. So from 3 to 12 is 9 units. So this is going to be 81 because that's 9 squared. All right, so now I need to get my B. So that's A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. So I have 81 plus B squared equals C squared is foci to the center. So that means I'm going up and down the square root of 202. Squared. So that's 81 plus B squared equals 202. So 202 minus B squared would be, minus 81, sorry, would be 121, sorry. So I have B squared is equal to 121. So that's going to go underneath here. All right, so now I do need my B because I need to graph this. My B is 11, so I'm going to go left to right 11 units. So to the right 11 units is going to put me at 17. And put a little mark there. And to the left 11 units is going to put me at, let's see, so left 11 units is going to put me at 5. Negative 5 here. Just like over here someplace. All right, so draw your box. Okay, drawing your diagonals. Okay, now draw your branches. Okay, so let's take a look at 7. Okay, so let's take a look at number 7 here. So it's the difference quotient. The difference quotient is f of x plus h minus f of x over h. And I'm using f of x is equal to x squared plus 2x minus 5. All right, so I'm going to start with this. F of x plus h. I'm starting with this. Remember, I plugged this in for all my x's here. So it's x plus h squared plus 2 times x plus h minus 5. Remember, I'm only working on this part right here so far. So x plus h squared is x plus h times x plus h. So that's x squared plus xh plus xh plus h squared. So that's x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Distribute the 2. Plus 2x plus 2h minus 5. Okay, so I have the front part now. So that's x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 2x plus 2h minus 5. Now I need minus my f of x. So I have to use parentheses because it's a trinomial, sorry. X squared plus 2x minus 5. So let's distribute. So that's x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 2x plus 2h minus 5 minus x squared minus 2x plus 5. And that's all over, so I'm just going to move everything up, all over h. All right, so let's see. So we should have a lot of things that are going to cancel out right now. So x squared minus x squared here. This does not cancel out, so it's 2xh. This does not cancel out with anything, h squared. 2x minus 2x cancels out. And then I have plus 2h. Negative 5 and positive 5 cancel out over h. Now I reduce all the h's. So then what I'm left with is 2x plus h plus 2. Okay, so let's take a look at 7b. Okay, so let me just rewrite the difference quotient. That's f of x. F of x plus h minus f of x all over h. All right, so my function is f of x equals 3x squared plus 5x plus 4. So I start off with this. I plug this in for all my x's. So I'm starting with f of x plus h. So it's 3 times x plus h squared plus 5 times x plus h plus 4. So it's 3 times x squared plus, I'm not going to go through distributing again, x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Distribute the 3, 3x squared plus 2xh, plus 6xh. Plus 3h squared. Distribute the 5 plus 5x plus 5h plus 4. Okay, so I have 3x squared plus 6, I'm just rewriting, 6xh plus 3h squared plus 5x plus 5h plus 4. That was the first part here. Now I need minus this guy here, my f of x, minus my f of x here. My f of x is, I use parentheses because it's trinomial, which is 3x squared plus 5x plus 4. So you're going to distribute the 3. I'm just rewriting. 3x squared plus 6xh plus 3h squared plus 5x plus 5h plus 4. Distribute the negative. Minus 3x squared minus 5x minus 4 all over h. Okay, so let's see what cancels out here. All right, so 3x squared and minus 3x squared cancel. I have a positive 6xh, positive 3h squared, 5x and negative 5x cancel. 5h, does not cancel, so that's plus 5h. And then positive 4 minus 4 cancels all over h. And now you're going to reduce all your h's. So it's 6x plus 3h plus 5. Okay, so that's it, and I'll see you guys in class tomorrow. Happy studying. Good night.